Hello and welcome to another episode of Kajabi in 5 minutes. As promised, this episode is going to be about some global customer payment settings that you don't see in the offer space. So what I'm talking about here is found by going to Settings in the bottom left of the toolbar and then going to Customer Payments. And this is the area where you have some control about different types of settings like receipts and invoices, free trial messaging, and different stuff like that. So we're going to jump right down to the bottom of this page, and there's a box here that says enable customers to self-cancel their subscriptions. I don't know if by default this is on or off, I can't remember, but if you have a subscription payment, this is a great setting to be aware of, because if it is not checked, then when people want to cancel their subscription with you, they will have to email you and you'll have to do it on the back end because they just don't have a way to do it. If this box is checked, then from their user menu in the top right where their little avatar icon is, they'll be able to get into the settings necessary and cancel their subscription on their own. So that's a great thing to know that it exists, and then you'll be able to decide how you want to manage it. There is another interesting setting here, and in the last episode we talked about free trials. Well, there's a box here that sends an automatic email 7 days before the trial period ends. Personally, I love receiving that email because sometimes I sign up for free trials and forget about it or don't remember the date or whatever. And it's just great to be informed that the trial is ending and payment is going to start anyways. You may have your own experiences with that, but this is a setting that you can control for your people. And if you're going to use free trials, then you should know about it. The other things on this page are great and you should review. I love the area of receipts because this is where you can say yes, send a receipt for all successful transactions, or no, only send it for the very first transaction, and then any recurring ones don't send it, or never send receipts at all. Now, if a customer ever asks you for a receipt, it's really easy to go into the customer profile, go to their purchases, find the transaction that you want, and then in the top right, there's 3 dots there. You click those, and one of the options, if it's available, is send the receipt. You could also view it yourself if you don't want to send it. And so that is a really easy way to send receipts again if a customer ever asks you for that. So this customer payment area is a great place to come and look around and see what's there and to know about, because these settings are going to impact the interactions that you have on a support basis with your customers. So there's one other thing that I want to talk about for Kajabi Payments, and that is the payment provider. Kajabi has their own payment provider, and if you're new to Kajabi, then you're probably using that one by default. If you aren't new to Kajabi, then you may be using something like PayPal or Stripe still, and you just haven't bothered switching to Kajabi Payments. But this is it's a conversation worth having, because Kajabi Payments is a lot more flexible and it gives you a lot more control, and is what I recommend using for sure. It is a credit card processor by default, but then it's also connected to Apple Pay and Google Pay, and you can offer like pay later solutions like Afterpay or Klarna as well. And there's different fees attached to those that you want to be aware of, but it's really convenient for people to be able to use Apple Pay and Google Pay, especially when they're on those computers and it's already set up. It makes payment a lot easier. So that's a real win for choosing Kajabi Payments. Aside from that, Kajabi Payments brings all of the payment control right into the Kajabi platform. Receipts, managing transactions, refunds, all of that. It's updating payment information. It's all just really easy in that way. If you're using PayPal, then a lot of that stuff has to be done in PayPal, which can be annoying. Just honestly, it can be annoying. And especially if your customer is like, hey, I want to update my credit card for my subscription with you. Well, if they've used PayPal, then You can't just do that in Kajabi. There's a different process for it, which is annoying. I don't have anything against PayPal, but the way that it's integrated into Kajabi, it just isn't as easy for your customers or for you to manage the whole payment process than if you're using Kajabi Payments. So that's the recommendation that I always make. Sign up for Kajabi Payments, use that, don't use PayPal, and everything will be just a lot easier for you to manage and for your customers as well if you do that. So that's my 2 cents on who to choose for your payment provider. And I will see you next week for another episode about Kajabi offers.